right. Hello, Libra. How's everything going today? Hopefully your day is getting off to a great start. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm really happy to be doing the reading with you because I've been receiving almost nonstop dream messages over the past couple of nights. So we have a lot to talk about today. Lots of love here from Mr. Apollo. I'm going to put him down so that we can focus, but I always like to start off with his calming influence at the beginning. Thanks, buddy. And as I say that, he's going to dig in his bed behind me. All right, welcome everyone. This is for the sign of Libra. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to look at the next 6 to 8 weeks, focusing particularly on the month of April. Don't worry though, if you showed up right now, you'll definitely receive some messages that will help you prepare for that. So that's the whole purpose of showing up a little bit early. We always begin with channeled messages first, and for me, channeled messages come a combination of ways, but primarily today through dreams. And again, a significant amount of information came through, not just in a totem, it was just, this has been sort of a trend I've been noticing lately where I'm just actually getting messages. So I did get a lioness as one of your totems, but definitely some just straight messages that I'm going to share with you today. Before I get into any of that, a quick note. My official handles on social media, it's always my name. I noticed on Instagram there was a fake imposter that popped up. Remember, I don't offer private readings. I don't direct message people, and they're doing both right now and offering services that I don't even offer. So be smart, folks. I always like to remind people of how I work. Okay, back to it. We're going to get into channeled messages first. And as I said, today, lots and lots of stuff coming through. Literally, there was a blank page. This is not a typo. What I was doing in dreams was basically a reading for you, like a 3-card reading, past, present, future. I shuffled the deck, a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and 3 blanks came out, and basically blank cards, nothing on either side. And this is kind of cool, I mean, even as a reader to receive a message like this, because it's a reminder that we are agents of our own change. We create our destiny. We co-create today, tomorrow, and every day after that. And a lot of times what tarot can also show us is the patterns that we've been going through. But this month, the universe wanted to remind you that it's not like a scary thing. It's an encouraging thing. Like this is a fresh start. As I mentioned, the lioness came through, bringing through messages of cord cutting and balance. And then there's a lot of messages around travel. All right, so let's start with the blank page. Like I said, this actually, to me, is an auspicious symbol. Free will. You can choose to break free of something. You can choose to recast or rewrite an experience or even a role that you're playing in something. And if you view today as a fresh start, that's where the power is. So we don't want to repeat a cycle, right, buddy? I know you're trying to make sure that this is a safe place to be. All right. So he likes to get my attention and he usually stops after I do it the second time. He's fine now. All right. So don't repeat an old cycle. So this could be cycles in romance, cycles in your health, your body, your well-being. This could be cycles in work. And it's very interesting because if you follow my 1-card daily pulls, this week we got no less than 2 hanged mans. They were in different positions. I believe it was Sunday where it was reversed, and then today we got the upright one. And basically it's trying to slow all of us down, but particularly Libra, because we don't want to make any sort of repetition, any sort of cyclical things that don't need to no longer serve our highest good. And that's really one of the things that the hangman does. It's sort of saying like, slow down, get a perspective, see the pattern, see it from a different angle. So today, this is a new page, a new chapter. Your book is continuing, your book of life. So make something cool happen. Don't do the same old. We're not watching reruns. We're creating something new. Okay, on to the next piece. I saw a lioness. It was specifically not a lion, but a lioness. They look different. And actually on several levels, the lioness is even more powerful because she does all the hunting. But before we get into what she symbolized, let's talk about what was going through my mind as I looked at her. So there was almost this process of cord cutting. And I actually found this great new deck. We won't be using this one today, but I love this card. And basically it shows what the devil represents for me, which is unnecessary connections. It can be limiting thoughts, limiting ideas, limiting habits. And of all the devil cards, this is the most inviting because it's just saying, let's stop that, right? So what I said is a release mantra that I do, and maybe we'll use this in the meditation later. I already have it laid out here, but in my head, I said, I release you from my thoughts, my energy, and my emotions. By releasing you, I free myself and I free you. We're both free. And what you can do with this is if you can also even go a step further and just say, I don't feel anything anymore. Not in a bad way, just I release all attachments to you, mind, body, and spirit. You no longer trigger my emotions. I don't feel good. I don't feel bad. It's done. We're done. The energy's done. So when there's nothing left to do, you can simply walk away. And that's kind of what the lioness did. She wagged her tail and she walked away. So she was there basically as a test of power and will, and basically saying, are we going to keep doing this or are we done? So for some of you, there may be a really core divine feminine relationship that you're healing. And you could be that divine feminine relationship as well, where you're just saying, I've got what it takes and I don't need to deal with this anymore. This is a nice segue into really what the strength card for me represents. We have this sort of traditional one here, which I wanted to show, but in the Lightseers deck, it may come up today. There's a beautiful version of it where it's half woman, half lion or lioness. And to me, that's basically what this embodied, was divine masculine and divine feminine. And it's basically saying in this moment, and this is important for Libra, you're balanced and you're empowered. So it's the right time for you to make a bold move, whether that's in love or life or career. And let's see what else here. Also, like cutting cords of fear or frustration and really just thinking, I can do this. I will do this. I am doing this. I always go through the can, will, am. So conjugate that in your head until you're in an active state of creating, of overcoming things, and really not wasting time in what we even see on this card, which is trying to get someone to say or do or feel what you feel or want them to say or do, because that is the actual epitome of the devil card, which is the strings. So these two actually work in concert. This is cutting of the strings like, an old-fashioned puppeteer would have. And then this is basically saying, I'm ready to just sort of like stand on my own now. And there is something cool with the energy of the strength card. It's how you hold yourself. It's how you communicate. It's really, if you believe you have the power, then you have the power. And that's the important thing right now. Okay, next message. This was bothering me this morning to the point that I actually couldn't get back to sleep at a certain point. So I saw myself in an airport that I've never seen before. And a lot of times when I'm in liminal spaces, the in-between zones where we meet our relatives and ascended masters, they come through in a traditional sense. So sometimes you'll hop in a taxi, but it's actually a guide taking you to another place. Or you'll try to go to an airport and you're really trying to make a connection with someone from a different realm. So to me, this could be some of you simply getting ready for an expansion or some sort of trip, when we're looking at where your sort of career is going or something like that. But anyway, here's what was going on. I saw multiple delays and challenges, and we're going to help you through that today. That's what this is about. And that's why I got the Two of Wands here, because it is about basically making a plan. So the first one was not knowing or being familiar with the airport. So this could be for some of you not doing your homework before you have a first interview, for instance, like first date, first interview, first meeting. If you're going to talk to someone about something, it makes sense to get to know them and also the company, the place, really get to know where you're going before you go. So one thing I always like to do, if I'm unfamiliar with a place, I want to take sort of like a practice run, right? You travel where you want to go first. You make sure that you can anticipate where the traffic will be, where the delays will be, and that preparation typically pays off. So do your homework, and that can help you overcome a lack of familiarity with something. For instance, if I was going to change my equipment before live streaming, I would do practice runs to make sure, and I even do, I hit the buttons to make sure that I can go between the two different views. That doesn't mean that something won't happen live, but at least I've tried everything before I start. Second thing was forgetting to bring the luggage. So sometimes in our, hurriedness, we might leave something behind key to like a presentation, or maybe you're going to leave, maybe it is something like your passport, your driver's license, your whatever it is behind. So go slow, and that's why the Hanged Man keeps coming through this week. I'll probably draw some connections when I do the daily card pull today. We'll see what it brings. But typically we need to slow down so we don't forget something or make a mistake. And the final challenge wasn't allowing for other things like security and other delays. So there's the external stuff, the preparation for like how to get there, what to do. There's the things that you're going to bring with you. And then there's actually adding a little bit of contingency or padding in. So have a plan A, B, and C, and basically stick to that, memorize that, really know it. And I don't know if I put it here, it must be in the next one. There are times when you can wing things, and this isn't one of those. So if there's something big that you want to do, and I do feel like, Libra, you're on the precipice of something really big. But if there's something big that you want to do, this is a time where your preparation actually empowers the expansion. So your dreams are ready to take flight, but in order to do so, you really need to lay the groundwork and it's kind of like a plane. It needs enough room to take off and enough room to land. And so you're basically building the runway at both locations right now. On the bright side, if you do lay that groundwork, it looks like you might be able to make up for some lost time, okay? And some of you may just be unprepared for the expansion, because I got this discombobulated feeling every time I kept going to the cosmic airport in my mind. It was sort of like, why can't I keep forgetting things. So sometimes if we're out of practice, this could even be for those of you that are getting back into the dating pool or anything. Or again, maybe you're getting back into the work pool too, if you've been out for a while. Whatever it is, lack of preparation sometimes makes you feel like, can I do it? You can do this. You will be able to do this. It's just a matter of sort of like laying the groundwork, taking a deep breath. And again, just to review quickly, I think the key thing to focus on today is this feeling that it's a fresh start. I really liked this. This is what I was picking up on a couple days ago. And never in my dreams have I laid out 3 blank cards. A lot of times I'll meet characters from the tarot, like I've seen the Temperance Angel or the Justice Angel, or I'll see cards embodied in my dreams. But blank cards, this is the first, and I've been reading for a while, and I've been channeling for a while. So let's see where the blank page is going to take you, what kind of adventure is ahead. I'm ready now to read, so let's focus on that. Let me pull the camera down, and again, you can use this for Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus, any aspect of your chart that you happen to know. And without any further delay, let's begin. I hope you all are doing well. It's good to see you. All right, let me just get my setup here ready. There's the cutting of the strings that we need to do, Libra. There's the travel. Pull this closer because people complain if they can't hear me. You're actually symbolized there. All right, let's zoom out just a smidge so you can see everything. Get it all aligned for you. And we're going to begin with the catalyst here. All right. So in the catalyst, we have the cedar tree. And I kind of am looking at the winds of change. Beautiful sort of evergreen energy coming through with this as well as we're looking in the background. This is a period during which many of you are being asked to sort of like pull on your network, your reserve, your confidence, and weather some challenges, or maybe you've already weathered the storm. And that's what I kind of feel like this is, we have two contrasting energies. So this one is a sort of uprooted tree, and now we have the spring energy coming through in the health position here. But for many of you, the first and the most important thing that you can do is to find your footing, find your grounding, and realize that the difficult portion or period, it's on its way out. So this, to me, the first piece of advice and the first piece of information that I'm getting as we look at the catalyst is you're at a paradigm shift moment where things should start to pick up, start to expand, but there is sometimes resistance or attachment to the old experience. And that's very nicely summed up by your center card, which is the devil. So I do feel like some of you, Libra, have been through a moment or two. It's been a difficult month or a difficult year preceding this. And what we're seeing now is squarely between this card, which is how everything is starting up, and also this one, which is kind of like your health and where you're kind of headed. We see this tug of war going on. The good news is you may not see how or why, but I see some good things coming because near future, they're looking pretty good. Let's do a quick scan of the cards before we do card by card. So your big challenge this month is letting something go, letting something that doesn't serve you, or breaking free from the restrictions and the expectations of people around you. You may already, be 1 foot out the door and starting something new, but people are having a hard time seeing you in a different light, and that happens a lot. We'll talk more about some of these here in a second, but what I do see is as a happy surprise or change of events, a new opportunity that's already underway. And I really want you to focus on that, less on this. So let's talk about your center card. This is one of the better designed devil cards. I showed one in the channeled messages, but this has got the same energy because to me, this is what the devil epitomizes. It's not some ugly creature sitting behind you. If the devil were to appear in everyday life, it would look a lot more like this. Something appealing, tempting, something where you shouldn't go in that direction, but you do anyway. So this card is a lot more accurate for devil energy. But there are strings attached, and the strings are not worth whatever this is. So what can the devil represent? For some of you, you knew better than to do something. Maybe you took a job that didn't end up being what you wanted it to be, or you did something for someone and they are asking for all of these other favors, and you knew that it was going to be complicated. You knew that there was a lack of simplicity with something and that there were strings attached. So for those of you that were engaged in something like that, this is about now finding your boundaries again, holding firm to them, and kind of like detangling that situation. For the rest of you, this is just an understanding that you're not stuck. Hanged Man, devil, even the Eight of Cups can be cyclical energies. And so with this one, the devil's like, it's safe. I absolutely detest the phrase, the devil you know. It's still a devil, folks. I mean, literally, why would you stay with the devil you know? Go forth and try something new. A devil is a devil, whether you know it or not. Better to go out in the world and experience something that could be an upgrade from this. So if you're sticking with something because it's safe, but you know it's not healthy or sustainable, it's the devil. It's not the devil you know. Cut off the end. It's the devil. So I'm encouraging you to just walk away from, obviously within, when I say walk away, I mean create that landing and the runway, both different areas. You've got to create something so you can take off and land. So that might be financial, that might be a social network, that might be the next job, whatever you need to do to cut the cords with this, that's cool. And for the rest of you, it's just maybe a lack of imagination or permission, because we can limit our potential to grow simply by not believing in ourselves. And that as well can be the devil. Whatever it is, El Diablo, we don't need you anymore. You're at the center of the spread, and Libra already has 1 foot out the door. And this card indicates that the minute you start to move in another direction, she's already at the bottom of the hill. Like it's gonna pick up quickly. One of the cool things with this very empowered 10 of Wands is she's not carrying it on her back. We've moved beyond that. She's sharing the load. And so delegation is going to be really key, not micromanaging, not holding on to too many things. And I did feel this need in the dream to not have so much that I was traveling with. It would have been a lot more convenient if I didn't have so much luggage. So the baggage that I couldn't find in the dream was maybe because I wasn't carrying baggage at the time. But some of you are, and the message is let go of the baggage. Travel lighter like the Fool. The Ten of Wands has too much baggage, I will say that. No matter which card or which deck, we always see usually their back is hunched, or in this case, she's sharing the load, but that's a lot to carry around the world. So we don't need that much. Making do with less, packing your sort of energetic and actual material load more intelligently and not acquiring so much, I think is key. So cut the cords and keep them cut is basically what we see with this, okay? Now let's take a look here. By the way, this can also be people trying to convince you to do something you don't want to do. This can be a forceful card if it's modifying another one. And when it's coupled with the devil, it can be someone that tries to use their title, their influence, or words. Just maybe they have a way of twisting words or whatever, but you're not going to you're not going to succumb to that. You're smarter than that. You're going to be fine. All right, deep past. So the deep past energy, which can either help or hinder, is the Six of Cups. Some of you are dealing with a karmic cycle with a sibling or with your inner child or with an old friend. The old friend can be from childhood. It can also be from a past life. The Six of Cups is usually a good karmic partnership, right? So there are different karmic partnerships. This one typically indicates a positive sort of energy. Five of Pentacles, a lot more complicated. Six of Cups, it feels like you were meant to sort of connect again. So if it's you healing with an old friend or a family member, this time around it looks like you can make a better sort of connection. The inner child wants to come out and play for all of you. So there might be a dream or an ambition or something that you promised yourself as a little kid, and now's the time to make good on that promise. And then again, there could just be someone from a past lifetime that's coming through. You had a familial connection. Usually this card represents sibling. It can be child. Sometimes, I mean, you made this lifetime be lovers, but there was something in the blood before that connected you, which complicates matters sometimes, because if it's like older, younger sibling, you're always kind of like competing. If it was a child and you were the parent or vice versa, there's always this power struggle. So this lifetime, seeing one another as equals will be important. All right. Here's the opportunity in the recent past. We have the Ace of Pentacles. So as many of you are watching this now, because it's for next month, the recent past is happening. I know time is relevant, but when we're looking at those of you that are watching this from March 16th to the end of the month, this is now. Anytime in April, this is March. Hopefully I didn't lose anybody. Ace of Pentacles. What are you doing with your current goal, dream, or ambition? Also, someone could have expressed interest in you, could be asking you out, could be hinting at asking you out, could be sort of thinking about, connecting with you. It's a good card because it generally shows that wherever you decide to put your energy, there's usually a response. You also are nicely positioned to sell, to barter, or to negotiate with this card. And one message that's beautifully illustrated with this particular choice of imagery is that an ace only goes somewhere if you do something about it. So in the case of an Ace of Pentacles, it's putting energy into it. So this is like a bulb. You'd have to water it. You'd have to put it in the ground. You'd have to take care of it, make sure it gets enough light. With our dreams, we have to every day infuse something into it. I'm trying to launch a project for the middle of the year. So part of that means that in addition to all the other stuff that I do, I have to carve out time in my day to do other things. And I have to work with other people and give them jobs and responsibilities because I can't do it all myself. So the way I keep that ace going is by a little bit from me, a little bit from someone else, and a little bit each day. You don't have to give 100% to it, but any seed requires watering. So figuratively speaking, put something forward for your goal every day and you're going to see growth and movement, okay? Moving on to your crowning card here, we have the Nine of Wands. So some of you might be vacillating a little bit between, again, could be some travel, could be points where you're complete and then you have to take one step forward, one step back. Nine of Wands doesn't give up. That's the cool thing with this card. Now, with it being in reverse, one thing that could be coming through is headaches, migraines, or just sometimes you feel mentally overwhelmed, like, how am I supposed to figure all of this out? How am I supposed to do all of this? And what I just mentioned earlier is you don't have to do it all alone. Reach out, ask for help, whether that's just, moral support, or if you're going to hire someone or pay someone for, advice, whatever it might be. This card is saying that is going to take you to the next level. You don't want to give up. This card is showing near completion. So even if you experience a delay, it's not a substantial delay. Going from the 10 of Wands to the 9 of Wands is still pretty close to the finish line. So I would say stay firm and strong to what it is you're trying to do. Don't let anyone push you down or push you back. And if you do kind of take a little stumble, this is about basically just saying, all right, let's brush off the dirt and keep on going. This is one of the few 9 of Wands where we don't see some sort of injury on the person. Usually they have a bandage around their head. Sometimes you'll see a sling. Sometimes they just look tired. So she's not giving up. She's like, you're not going to get me down. So I actually like that they chose not to do that, but it helps to know. It looks like her clothing, well, it's probably stylistically. I was saying it looks a little tattered, but it's not. So just don't give up. You're very close, and light the way. Use your energy to kind of shine a light on why it is that you're doing what you're doing. Sometimes people need that little reminder, and you might have to be the voice of reason or the light of reason. Okay, let's move into the near future and what might be causing challenges for some of you. So the good news, again, when we look at the outcome, is it's the sun. So we see things going in a great, great direction, but there's a little bit of indecision that could be holding you back right now. And Libra's like, I don't have problems with, yeah, of course. I'm Libra too, so I get it. What I love here is, I know these are swords, but it looks to me a lot like the symbol for Libra, right? So I feel like you have what it takes, and I saw that in dreams with the lioness. You're embodying divine masculine and feminine, which is the ability to develop, have that sort of inception of an idea, and then carrying it out. It's both. What you have to do is take an ace and take a stand. And this is hard for Libra sometimes. Libra wants to do what's just, what's fair, what's safe. We're going to cut the ties with what's safe. You're going to have to do what's right, or what's calling to you, or what's in front of you as the clear opportunity. So overthinking isn't going to serve you in this case. Get what you can from your environment, from your intuition. And ultimately with the Two of Swords, you can always backtrack. You can always turn to the right or left. I think that it's stagnation, indecision, and fear that's really kind of like the block right now. And fear, the one way that I kind of overcome fear is research and education. I try to learn as much as I can about something. I've found that when I know about how to deal with something or how others have dealt with it, I feel more empowered. It may not take away all of the anxiety, but it makes me feel like I've got a plan. I try to get people, around me that I can trust and lean on, and then that makes me feel supported. There's a lot of things you can do to overcome the fear, the anxiety, or the indecision. You can get some advice, but at the end of the day, trust yourself. You're smart enough, you're clear enough to kind of get this, and I know that you're going to be able to move past what really comes through as a mental, energetic block in this moment in time, okay? All right, so let's move on to what you should be doing for yourself right now. So this is how you're showing up. I think some of you have been going so fast, so furious for so long that you need a rest. Some of you may also be lacking the motivation. So a couple things to think about with the Four of Swords. When this card comes through and it's a lack of motivation, sometimes we lack motivation because we're not doing the thing that truly kind of calls to us. So if you're bored, if you're uninspired, or if you really just don't want to do it, it's time to look at a different direction or a different path. And maybe just change up the way that you do it. I only like doing these types of videos live. When I have to pre-record them, they take me longer and I drag my feet. So what I like about live is you're here, I'm here, and it's just coming through. Like I'm going to be recording a podcast series for the summer, but that's different because it'll be recorded live and it'll be offsite. And then, again, same sort of energy where it's live and other people are helping me. And there's that energy. I need the energy of things are happening now. Sometimes I'm bored if it's too much ahead or if you're just sitting here. I like connections and I like that sort of feeling like I'm doing something. Figure out how you work energetically, because if you're bored or not connected, it's time to just change it up. This is beautiful here because this comes after the Three of Swords, and I'll pull it as close as I can. You can see that beautiful heart there at the center. She's getting ready to put herself back out there. So this is also on the heels of the Three of Swords, overcoming pain, grieving, loss, disappointment, upset, you name it. So once that happens, basically, time does heal most wounds. Not all, not completely. It's kind of like if you have a scar on your hand or on your body, it fades over time to the point that maybe only you notice. But this is indicating that it's starting to get to the point where you're ready to try it again. You're ready, that clean slate that I was shown for you, Libra. It's time. So this is basically asking you, are you ready? When are you ready to wake up? Because the universe has a lot of cool stuff that it wants to bring through. You can snooze as long as you want to. And I'm not just, you don't have to look at this as you snooze, you lose. I look at this as rest, repair, and then basically come back, rebound. When are you ready to rebound? Because there are aces all over this, at least two and a hidden one in the Two of Swords, because you really just have to take one of them. There's a lot of things that you can focus your energy on this month, and I'd really love for you to do that. So one thing that I can look at this as a positive, people could look at you as a really peaceful person, so they come to you for that sense of being safe. Again, keep your boundaries so that you're not overextending that nesting energy that people might, you may want to nest, you may be looking for partnership. You may just need to take it easy. So self-care is the most important thing, okay? We love the fact that you have something in the past and something in the future. And that could be also what this is about, because you can look at the 4 cards in the center and they tell a story. This is the past, this is the present, this is the future, and this is the environment. That's why sometimes on the weekend, I like reading with 3 cards, because I can just get to the point and I can do a series of 3 cards. I like the 10, but you really only need 3 or 4 to tell a story. And if we look at just this story here, you're wrapping up something or you're trying to do something with an idea. There could be a limitation or block in front of you. You're going to think your way through that. Part of you, like some of you are just going to move on from something because you're like, I need to do this and I have something else that I have to do, and you're not letting me get to that. So liberating yourself and moving or traveling, and maybe that's why I was seeing so much friction with the traveling and taking flight. It's hard to move on, right? It's really hard. And I know what it's like to move on from losing someone. I'm almost 1 year from losing a parent, and it takes a long time, and still I'm healing. And so when it's a loved one, when it's something that you're attached to, even a job, and you're not ready to leave that, it can have the same sort of mourning energy. But once you move through this, guess what? There's more. There's something new, and this is where things really start to get interesting. Ace of Swords, people want to have a conversation with you. If you have an idea, now we have a contract. If someone, like this is basically the execution of it. So inception and execution. You're going to see something through. The title that I put on that last card, Your Dreams Are Taking Flight, it's true. I think today it's like a clean slate. That's basically your title for the reading. But the second one would be, once you kind of figure out what you want to put on that slate, it's going to happen. I see really good manifestation energy for you. You just have to believe in that. So this card is also asking you, Libra, what do you stand for in this moment in time? What do you want to create? It's okay to go back to the drawing board. This card always makes me laugh because it reminds me of the math meme, the little GIF I'm sure you've seen with all the stuff going in and out. So I always invariably think of that because I'm looking at all the mathematics there. Don't overthink, don't overcomplicate. It's usually easier than you think. So don't sort of psych yourself in or out of something. That's one thing that I would say. And it's kind of unique with this one. And it's mostly because of the meme. This is really good for Libra anyway, because you're great communicators and you're good with words and with writing. So write it down, sketch it out. You have the beginnings of something really, really cool. This can also, there could be 2 things here. This could be like education. Some of you might also be tapping into a financial sort of pool of money that you have, and you're reinvesting in yourself, and you're trying to figure out, is it safe? Is this the right time to do that? Standard disclaimers always apply on this. I'm not a financial advisor or a psychologist or a doctor. Talk to the appropriate person for that. What I'm really looking at here is the existential questions. Should I do this? Is this the right time? I do see expansion, but it's important to educate yourself on all of the options. Education will help you not get into something that's too good to be true, and it's going to help you basically future-proof it. I do think you want to get the information. Ask a ton of questions before you sign any contract. Make sure that you're both getting an equal say and equal pay in this sort of opportunity, especially if you are going to do this, whatever it is, a project or an opportunity with someone. You don't need them, though. I will say that. I think you can do this alone. I think it would be better if you were the head person and you're hiring people under you rather than partnering up with someone. I definitely got that energy last night. Okay, moving on to hopes, fears, and opportunities. Coming out of your shell. Of course, we're all a little bit overwhelmed when it comes to that. The cool thing is you're already there. So this hermit left her lantern back there because look at her. She's already shining from within. She's the star. The hermit's lantern always carries the star within it in the traditional illustration. I'll pull it while we're talking. And so what I see here is that it's kind of like when you have an old sweater. It's got a lot of holes in it, or some shoes. They don't have the support that you need anymore, but they're comfy. And it's sort of like, I know I need to let go of this. You've outgrown it or it's worn out. So all you need to do is allow people to see you, step into the new truth, whatever that might be, and it's going to get easier. It's just that first step. So the hermit, here we go with the traditional card. If you look closely in the lantern, there we go. You can see the star. And then basically what he's holding is this, the embodiment of the future state of the star, which is why this is so many levels higher up. The star comes after some tricky stuff like the devil, the tower and whatnot. So you're right on the precipice, actually. You have to go through something like devil or tower energy in the major arcana to prepare. So you move past limits, you move through one of the most difficult or challenging moments, and then there's a payoff. The star is always the universe saying, you're going to be okay. So the hermit's basically encouraging you to know that you've got this and that you're going to overcome whatever challenge is in front of you. And it's a little bit further back in the major arcana, but it's reminding you of that lesson. Now, just standard messages with this. You may be the kind of person right now that wants to pull back from social invitations, from networking events, from seeing other people, talking to other people. You might also be protecting your heart because it was broken before, because you were disappointed. And this card is saying past energies. Release the past. You can't be attached to that or project expectations of a repeating cycle. Otherwise, you manifest a repeating cycle. What you think now is, I'm stronger, I'm wiser, I'm nobody's fool. And this time, you've already been through the fool at this point. You're ready to really embrace and be yourself. And the star doesn't worry about that. She just shines as bright as she can. And so that's what you're heading towards. But there's a little resistance and a little bit of increased desire for privacy because of some of the past disappointments, experiences, etc. Some of you just like to be private. The hermit in reverse, though, is sort of like an unexpected social butterfly. Very close to, so at the party of tarot, I like to think of this cosmic party where there's a bunch of, like a school dance where all the cards are hanging out. The hermit reversed and the three of cups reversed, they hang out in a corner. And sometimes they pop into like the center of the dance and everyone's paying attention to them because they're popular. They just sometimes don't realize they're popular. So you have this sort of potential to have mass appeal. You can blend in better than you might imagine that you would. So stop thinking you can't do it, or stop thinking that other people are cooler than you. Unless you tell them that, they're not thinking that. So this is about releasing that thought. You can actually mix and mingle with the best of them in the cosmic tarot party. All right. So that's my 2 cents worth on that. We also have another embodiment of the star here, the sun. So the sun is basically you connecting to source energy. It's a rebirthing. And we can see that here. And it's almost like she's flying this energetic kite on this card. But love the solar plexus color that's bright and clear. Almost looks basically like an egg. So we can see that rebirthing energy as well. So this is a chance for you to go back to it's almost like you're rediscovering yourself, right? It's not necessarily youth. It's sort of like the true you. And sometimes we need to be lost. We need to be in the woods a little bit. But you're no longer in the woods. You're out of the woods now and you found yourself. And that's really the story. These two cards are reversed, but if we put them into the upright position, hopefully you can still hear me. Basically, that's what we see. Someone that feels like they're lost in the woods, and now they're coming out of the dark. And it's a really great segue because we're going to be looking at this here. We're a week away from this, folks. So springtime is coming. I know in the southern hemisphere it's fall, but the equinox, let's just call it that. The equinox is coming, and the equinox is really good for Libra because it's a balancing of energy. So let's go into the next portion and we'll continue to expand and explore the messages in front of us. So the first message in the expanded forecast is about our mind, body, spirit, and well-being. And let's take a look at what's going on with health. Well, for many of you, it's rebounding. So whether it's spring or fall, doesn't matter. Equinox is a cool equaling energy. And see your seeds grow. This one's connected with this. What's going to put a little pep in your step is the fact that this is actually coming to fruition, right? All right. So let's look at these two one more time. This is the right time to plant a new seed, whether it's you're interested in someone, whether it is that you want to say what it is that you stand for, you want to start a new business, I don't care what it is. But you're going to actually see a decent amount of growth with that. And this will carry you through the next 3-month period. So even if you're watching me in New Zealand, Australia, or any of the Southern Hemisphere countries, this is still saying that you're springing into that next 3-month quarter. So let's not fixate too much on the seasonality of it. But if you really are stuck on seasons, it means that there's something cool coming next spring for you too. This is auspicious no matter how we look at it. I feel like it's a lot more immediate than a year. I think it's happening in the next 3 months. Let's see what's going on here with the rest of the cards. Again, with that standard disclaimer that I'm not a doctor, but I'm here to help you look at energy and opportunities and patterns. Okay, so let's get real with the center card. We have to. The devil comes through when we are doing something that doesn't serve us. It could be any number of things. Eating too much or too little, drinking too much or too little, leaning on substances or other things that just aren't good. So cutting out the bad habits will be the first thing. For some of you, you could just benefit from a move. 10 of Wands can be moving on from someone or something. So if the environment or the relationship feels toxic, moving on from that is the key thing. So that's centered to everything. Everything that I'm going to read in the expanded forecast depends upon this, moving on from something or limiting thought if it's not something in the environment. Just we need to go towards expansion and away from the contraction of the devil. And then once you do that, let's see what else is coming through with your health. Again, I feel like this is more psychological and emotional, but some of you might be healing something from the past. Parent, child, or sibling, immediate family, or someone in your life that feels like that. Maybe you have someone that you're mentoring, or you have a best friend that feels like a sister or brother. That kind of energy is coming through super strong right now. It feels positive, but if it isn't, this is a time to kind of mend the ways with that. And I do see a mending and a bettering of the energy here. And it might just be a cooling off period too, taking care of yourself a little bit. Get your eyes and ears checked out. Whenever I get the 8 or the 2 of Swords, it's a good time for that. Don't overdo it if you're starting a workout or exercise or diet routine. You have to ease in and out of things. And the 9 of Wands in reverse is going too fast, too furious, all at once. Watch where you're walking. Don't multitask. Put your phone in your pocket when you're driving and when you're walking. Walk with idea of what's going on around you. Let's see what else is going on. It would be good to get out. Many of us have been dealing with inclement weather, including us Californians. We've been getting so much rain. It feels like the Pacific Northwest. It feels like Seattle. So I know a lot of folks, whether it's snow or rain or just cold weather, it's tougher. So it's important to get a change of environment or meditate, whatever you can do to kind of help with that. There's a birthing energy coming in here. So some of you might actually be having a baby, or there could be a surprise pregnancy, or there could be someone new coming into your family. Maybe someone's going to announce a marriage or an adoption or something like that. Generally, it looks pretty good, but there's a surprise element to that, and that can create a little bit of discombobulation as well. Okay. Moving on from health to wealth, which comprises resources, life purpose, and also your career. Your message in wealth is the child. Lo and behold, we've got a couple babies here. That's why I'm mentioning it. So for some of you, maybe you have decided to expand your family. Apollo, a lot of you will ask, why does he? Oh, he's back now. Sometimes when I'm talking, it's too much noise. He's a very shy puppy. So if I talk too loud or too animated, he gets scared. But I just noticed he joined me again. He likes to, sometimes when he sleeps, he keeps one eye open to make sure that I don't leave him. Some of you, the child is a pet. They are babies, fur babies. He had a little digestive issue last week, and I had to make all of his meals for him and feed him some baby food for a couple of days. Take him to the vet, get all these tests. He was fine, but I was like, he really is a baby. I'm feeding him organic baby food so that he could get back on regular stuff. And then I was making like rice and chicken breasts, and it was funny. But whether it's a fur baby or an actual child, some of you are dealing with that, and it definitely disrupts your schedule. Some of you might also be birthing something in your life. This is in wealth. We're looking again at, resources, life purpose, and career. So launching a project. I'm in the pre-production phase for a podcast that will hit later this year. It takes several months there's pre-production, production, and post. So I'm at the very beginning, but again, this is kind of like the pregnancy phase where you're trying to prepare for all of it. And then, so if you're getting ready for something big, give yourself extra time. Make sure you're getting enough rest. Make sure that you're not overdoing it. And then continue to sow the seeds of whatever it is that you want to create, okay? It's happening, but it takes time, and then all of a sudden you see it. So I think that's one thing to be aware of. Are you having fun, Libra? When was the last time you had fun? This is a period where the universe kind of wants you to shake things up a little bit and to not feel like, you have to do the same old, same old. So playful energy, fun energy, all the stuff that we see with the Six of Cups is coming through. Let's look at the cards and see what additional messages are coming through with career, with wealth, and with money. They're all interrelated. So for those of you that are retired, it could just be your life purpose, what you're doing, for a living. You don't necessarily need a paycheck. So we're just looking broadly at that. The first thing is, if you don't want to do it, stop doing it. It's simple, but it's powerful. And for some reason, we do things that we don't want to do anymore. So, or find a way so that you can liberate yourself from that. The liberation is really important here. Okay, the next piece, let's see. For those of you that are, as I said earlier, deciding to launch something new in your life, you can absolutely do it, but you're taking on a lot. So make sure that you're not getting in over your head. Ask for the help where you need it, like get a lawyer, talk to people that have done something before, get the advice that you need. Always read the fine print, always get a second set of eyes on something. Don't overcommit. This is so important. So if it's too much, push back on something that's unrealistic. The devil can be something that we conjure up in our own words, like, yeah, I'll do it, or, no, it would be better to say this is how much I can do. I need help with this. Or what you've requested is probably too aggressive, but this is what I would advise. Just be honest, it'll help. Get to know your money situation. If you need to fix something. If you're not sure, ask a question. There's no wrong thing to kind of look at in the future. If there's something like what you desire is what you desire. Right or wrong is subjective. If it's in your wheelhouse, if it gives you a sense of that sort of playful energy, that curiosity that we see with the children in this spread, then it's the right thing. So allow yourself to be your own person, I would say too. Definitely, I see for those of you that are interested in starting something new, contracts. I saw blank papers though, so you might have to start from scratch. That could be part of it. Up to 3 contracts, because I was looking at 3 cards that were blank. So there might be 2 or 3 things where you're going to have to start from scratch. But it was good. I felt like it was good, but give yourself time to start from scratch. And it may make sense to start fresh rather than cobbling together old stuff that doesn't work anymore, okay? I love the sun. The sun is really good for self-starters. So again, whether you are going to launch your own project or you want to take a more aggressive role in something or more sort of like a high-level role, this is really about coming into your own this month. So I like that. So we see basically, as we look at all of this, getting more comfortable with money, articulating any concerns, cutting ties with things that don't serve you, possibly moving out of something that is toxic or is not allowing you to travel to the next level because you have all the potential, but you're having a hard time. We want to go from this to like the page, but you're getting stuck. You're taking a step back. So there could be a glass ceiling where you're at. You got what it takes. You can do it on your own if you need to. Okay? All right. By the way, I thank you for all the advice. He's already back on regular food, and I actually buy food from a place that cooks especially for my dog. So he has the sweet potato, he has all the stuff, so we're good. Appreciate it though. I was actually following the advice of the doctor too. It had to be super bland initially, and the potato was not bland enough. He needed something like really, really bland. All right, back into the reading. Let's take a look now at love. Romantic, platonic, friends, and family. Let's see what the message is here. Okay, first and foremost, we're going to begin with the love message. Truth is my teacher, and we've got the star here. Star in reverse can sometimes be just about being your authentic self. Also, it's so hard sometimes when we're either shown the truth or we have to say the truth, but the truth will also set you free. So if there's something that you're not saying to someone, if there's a secret that's being kept, it's time to let that go. It's time to release things. Release was a big part of what I was picking up on, okay? What else am I focusing on here? Let's see. Let's go ahead and do this in 3 different levels. We're going to do this for those of you in love, looking for love, or single and happy. All right. For those that are currently in a relationship, you can look at this for, by the way, it's not just like romantic relationships. When I say love, it could be the child, sibling, friend, or person in your life you think of the most. All right. So let's look at the core relationships that exist first, and then we'll look at the expanded version of this. So for those currently in a relationship or looking at someone that they care about a lot, we do need to look at just sort of like honesty and communication. I think that's the important thing first and foremost. Not feeling like you have to, we didn't get strength here, but we got the 10 of Wands and the Devil, and that's a power struggle. So someone either accepts your truth or they don't, and you either accept their truth or you don't. We don't need to convince one another to be something that we're not. And there's a battling of the wills here that I'm definitely picking up on. And I just see 2 different paths here. And maybe there's not enough convergence. So there could be relationships where you're diverging. You're going, typically the 2 of Swords is in front of like a path in different decks anyway. So you could see 2 different paths in the person in front of it. So maybe the 2 of you can't figure out how to walk the middle or how to choose one over the other. And that's okay. They both look good to me. That's why it's probably hard to make the decision. They're 2 aces. And aces at their core are possibilities, and I'm not judging one over the other. So some of you are just headed in a different direction, okay? All things considered, if you're on a good path, there could just be something you can't control. This can be an illness. This can be something going on in their lives or your life. And what I would say here is they can't help you if they don't know, and you can't help them if they don't articulate it. So the number one way to make this work is communication. You're pretty good at that. Give it your best shot. If they pull back, continue to be the light that shines the way, continue to be positive, but you're not their battery. And that's the thing to remind yourself here. You're the source. You're your own light. They're their own source. So they're not plugging into you, and or vice versa. So be your own lights, and you'll be okay. And we have 2 lights here, literally the lantern and the sun. They're both light sources, right? So we have 2 paths that are possibly both compelling. And we have 2 people that are kind of in friction here of which one to decide. So if someone's just trying to tell you how to live your life, you probably know best, and your path looks just fine to me, especially as we look at these last 3. This is an opportunity, this is an expansion, this is a really big expansion. So maybe you're just going to keep to yourself and say, I'm going to do this, and ask for permission or apologize later, because I just know that I trust in this path. Partnership should, though, be partnered. So if you can't depend on one another, it's a bigger conversation to be had. All right, resetting this. We're going to take a look now at those of you that are looking for love right now. If you're looking for love, I think you need to take care of self-care first and foremost. Rest. Someone mentioned that this almost looks like a child getting ready to give birth. So again, rest and birth whatever it is that you need to birth. I agree. Once you've moved. So we need the dust to settle a little bit here. Stepping away from something that doesn't serve you, moving into something that's better, focusing on getting your sort of ducks in a row. Once you have all of that aligned, this person, if you're looking for love, is coming into your life. And this is a very nice partnership, the Hermit and the Sun. They're both light sources. One may not like to take all the credit, but they're just as bright as the other. So I mentioned that cosmic party. You're both very compatible. One just talks a little bit more. One just sort of shows it a little bit more. But the other one is equal to or greater than the light of the one that's shining brightly all the time. So remember that in both existing and new relationships. I mentioned there's this illusion of one being better, one being stronger. It's an illusion. So you're just expressing your light differently, which is that's a cool way to think about it. You're just expressing your power or your light in a different way. If we thought of it that way, probably relationships would be more elevated, but it's hard to say that to someone and not have them kind of blink their eyes at you sometimes. Okay, if you're single and happy, I think it's a good time to be single and happy. I think that healing wants to happen. A lot of growth and growth in career and personal development wants to happen right now. It feels like some travel is on the horizon for you. So yeah, I don't know, Libra, for those of you that meet someone right now, it's going to be tricky on how to kind of put them into your calendar. For those in a relationship, it's going to be tricky on how to give the person what they need. So if you're single and happy, just enjoy this period of time. Really fix your life wherever it needs to be fixed, grow where you're ready to grow, and explore a little bit. It's a good time to be free, okay? I definitely think that single and happy gets overlooked in a lot of readings, so I try not to do that. All right, let's move on to destiny. We have clarity of belief, and then we have this beautiful little moth on this. So the universe is asking you, what do you want? What do you stand for? Where are you headed? That's why I put the Two of Wands on that card when I was thinking of travel. The obvious choice would have been like the Six of Swords because it connects to travel, or the Two of Pentacles, or the Three of Wands. There's a lot of different travel cards, but all I cared about was the Two of Wands because with that one, they're looking at the globe. It's like a GPS, it's a check-in. So I think this is a time for vision. And then once you have that vision clarified, others are going to be able to believe in your vision, but you have to have the vision first, okay? Once you've got that, everything's going to come into focus. And this is a chance for genesis or rebirth. We have butterfly or moth there, and we have multiple symbols on today's spread about a rebirthing. Right here from the spring card, which is, again, indicative of the season. We have the ace card here. We have the child. We have the sun. The sun is a baby in tarot. This is a baby, and this is a baby. So triplets for some of you, but yes, of opportunities. Let's put it that way. Okay, let's go ahead now, and we're going to take it to the next level. We're going to we'll expand, and then I'll do the... After I expand, I will do the big ideas. Sometimes it's better that way, wherever the universe takes me. So let's take a look at sun, rising, and moon, because that's where I was headed next. Sun, rising, moon, they're all good. Okay. Sun sign messages. Libra sun, it's okay to ask for what it is that you need. If you don't know the answer, ask for clarification. If you need more support, ask. If you want to reinvest something in yourself, like, again, taking some money that you've saved up for education or for a logical investment, standard disclaimers apply. Talk to someone who is an expert in that, but it looks like it's good. The Page of Pentacles in reverse says, I need this, I want this, this needs to be changed. You're communicating a need, a monetary resource or somehow support need in your life, and you have a good chance of getting it, okay? As long as you stay grounded, as long as it's within a realistic frame, you should be okay. Pages of Pentacles are also open to new opportunities. This is a time, like I said, to get out of the hermit phase and to network, to let people know who you are. And again, part of that, you might have to summarize things. One thing that I was getting ready, I was talking to a lawyer, and I'm working with my producer on this, but a lot of times I just have to pitch the idea for the podcast, or like I talk about my global sort of life purpose on this planet, you should be able to say it in a few words. Elevating consciousness. I can actually do it in two words if I have to. But think about what it is that you want to do so that you could ask for it and get the person behind it immediately. And when I was talking the other day to someone, the light bulb clicked. Like, yeah, I totally get what you do and what you're trying to do. And that was good. That was like, okay, good. Because I can talk a lot or I can talk a little and be very succinct. So try to get to the succinct point when it comes to your requests. But you have the power to get what you want, but you have to ask. That's my very short version. Ask for what it is that you need. That's the only way you're going to get it. And it's okay to ask. Moving on to rising and ascendant. Recognition is on the horizon, but it may not happen right now. But that doesn't mean that you're not doing what you should be doing, because you're not doing it for recognition. You're doing it to complete what you set out to do. You're doing it because it feels good. You're learning something from it. It's the best example of you. You stand behind it. These are all of the things that are embodied in the Three of Pentacles. It's good work. It's good energy. It's learning a lot. It's completion. It's mastery. The reversal of this is saying, I know that I should get recognition. Maybe one day it will come. If it doesn't matter, because on a soul level, when I go up to wherever, to the liminal zone after I pass from this existence, I'll be celebrating and dancing with my spiritual tribe up there, knowing that I set out to do what I did and I really succeeded on that. So just keep on doing the right thing. And also notice how the signals are all reversed on this. This isn't how a stop sign looks. The red and the green, they're all kind of mixed up. So I think one thing to remember is that sometimes external signs don't always tell the truth. Focus on this signal in the heart, right? Make sure that you're not miscommunicating or sending mixed signals, by the way. I forget the exact location, but I know the yellow should be in the middle, and it's either the red or the green. Is it the green's on the bottom, and then it's yellow, and then it's red? But anyway, there's two that are reversed on this one, and that confuses me. So make sure that when you're communicating, it's with clarity, and make sure that the person got the message. And when I say mixed signals, I also mean that if you're not interested, just say no. If you don't want to date someone, if you don't want to do something, don't say, well, I'll think about it, or I'll get back to you. Just thank you for the offer. I'm not interested. It's so much better. Free them. Cut the cords. Don't be the one that kind of calls in this energy, because being polite, which Libra can do, and there's nothing wrong with being kind, but not when it's sending a mixed signal of engagement. When it comes to engagements and contracts, we don't want to be polite. We want to be direct, honest, and succinct, and as clear as possible. And that's the message for rising, especially since rising and ascendant touches the career aspect of your life. Okay, moving on from rising to moon, we have some pretty cool stuff coming through for Libra moon. We have the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands in reverse again. This is the cosmic party that wants to happen. All right, so with the Four of Wands, this is the foundation. This is that line from the movie, if you build it, they will come. So sometimes long before you've pulled everything into creation, you just basically say, I believe in this, I'm setting the foundations, this will all be ready. And then when I'm ready to push the buttons, it all lights up. So in the case of a business, for instance, it's organizing it and making it a legal entity. It's getting the website, the business cards, the legal framework done so that then when you're ready, all you have to do is execute on all of these things and turn the lights on. In your own life, it could be working on your health, working on your finances, working on the emotional components in your life so that when someone comes in a Four of Wands energy, they are entering into that space that feels safe and finished. Think of the Four of Wands as a house. You don't want to come into a house where you can see through. This is one of the reasons a year ago I had to leave my old apartment. They did round the clock almost. It was like 8 to 8. They were doing construction all day. And I talked to an old neighbor there, and they never finished it. So they have all of these beams and exposed areas, and you can see through certain walls. You don't want to live in a space like that. You want to come into a relationship space where it's stable and the person's done the work, not a construction zone. So for some of you, it's just finishing up the construction work in your life, in your emotional, financial, and just general well-being, so that someone can come in and that nice tent in the background with the Four Wands is there, and you guys can just have fun. But what do I see? Partnership. What kind of partnership? Lasting partnership. This could be friendship or love, or just someone in your life that changes it. And even if they don't stick around forever, the impact that they make is this sort of like they're there. It's a lasting impact. So I see a very significant partnership on the horizon for you, for Libra Moon. And all you have to do is set up the framework right now. And that's why it's reversed. Okay? Let's move on to the big idea. What's it all about this month? Good question. Well, it feels like it's about growth, and it's about new beginnings, and it's about letting go of old patterns that don't serve you. But what should you be focusing on as you step away from today's reading? Okay. So we have the Eight of Pentacles that came through. So it came through in reverse state, by the way. But let's look at it upright for a second. I like this because she's really enjoying what she's doing. This is a card where you definitely get a return on engagement with Eight of Pentacles. There's certain cards that can represent risk and maybe, just not enough clarity and not enough payback. But typically with Eight of Pentacles, this is something like training, soaking in some knowledge, doing something, and maybe you feel a little bit challenged, but you master that and you get to the next level. And so this is basically saying whatever you're doing right now, it should feel like it's using all of the skills that you have, it's challenging you, and that you just feel like there's a return on your energy. If there's not a return, it's time to move on. Whether that's a relationship, whether that's a job, whatever it might be, you should be expanding. And this is showing me that you're close to quote unquote graduating something that you've started. Or if you just started something, you're going to finish it. But I get that sense that it's a lot closer than you think, especially because we have a Ten of Wands smack dab in the center of today's reading. Okay, so that brings us to the final portion for today. What we're going to do in just a moment is look at the final card. I always like to preface for the final card by allowing us to basically do a quick meditation together. Before I do that, first time I've asked the whole reading, please give me a like and subscribe. We're very close to a milestone, only about 3,000 away. I'll do a Q&A when we get there for everybody. Members will get a chance to ask questions, but you'll all have a chance to show up, and maybe I'll take a few live. So let's get there faster and we'll have fun with that. Again, a reminder that it's always my full name and only my full name unless listed otherwise on my website. And if anyone ever messages you and offers you something, they are Pinocchio. That's not me. All right, if you want to show some love and support, you can do that through Super Sticker and Super Chat. Let's meditate together, folks, and then I'll answer your final question. Keep the question to yourself, please, until we've had a chance for everyone to meditate. That way I'm not influenced by your question. All right, close your eyes if you will. Take a couple of deep breaths and really tune into your body. Figure out where you're at right now. What is it that's coming through as you breathe, as you do a scan of your body? Imagine that you're connecting to the sun itself and you can see this ray of light going through you, clearing everything out. And you just get this sense now that you are a vibrant, luminous being capable of manifesting everything that you need to manifest that you set out to do in this planetary existence. Close your eyes and see yourself in front of a lioness, this beautiful female lion, divine energy form, and listen to the messages that she's bringing to you. As I'm tuning into this in this moment, she's reminding you of your strength and power, your ability to both dream and do, and she reminds you that there's no longer a need to prove yourself to anybody else. And for many of you, this is why all of the childlike energy has been coming through. It's a desire to want to be validated. And the only validation that matters is the validation from within. Think of someone or something that you want to release in your life, and we'll do a miniature release, and then we're going to focus just on pushing out the solar plexus light after that. So first things first, think of someone or something or a habit or a thought that you no longer wish to hold on to. See that take a physical form between you and the lioness. And as you're looking at that, I want you to imagine that each breath you take, almost like dragon breath, you're going to push through pure golden light between you and now this beautiful lion. And together you're going to release the energy of whatever it is that's holding you back. And so think to yourself, I release you from my mind, my body, my spirit. I release attachments, thoughts, and emotions. And I release the need to come back to this space again. I've learned the lesson and you're dismissed. And as you say you're dismissed, or I release you, whatever final word you want to see or say, you notice that the figure of the lion is gone, the block, whatever it was embodying is gone, and now all that's happening is this beautiful energy coming from the solar plexus. As I play the singing bowl, see the bright golden light shining through the center of your being, basically reaching to the horizon and beyond, and allow this to be what we close with before we look at the final card. All right, Libra, take a few final deep breaths, and now allow for all of that light, all of that energy to stay with you. Imagine that it's just like you've walked outside on a warm summer day. You can feel each and every vein coursing with energy and warmth and light. Allow that lightness of being to travel with you for each and every day in the month ahead. And remember, you are the source. You are the light. You're the one that breathes energy into these new things that come into your being, and that it's okay to be at a place where you basically have a blank slate or a blank page. If you haven't already done so, I'd like you to open your eyes on the next exhale and focus on the final question that you have for me. Well, you came through as yourself, Libra, which is fantastic. So we have King of Swords energy in reverse. The King of Swords message here as we look at this is a kind of multifaceted, multi-channel one. You see all the different winged creatures on here, from the owl to the falcon to the bat to the dragonfly and butterfly, all the little flying things. What we want to look at here is remembering that one size doesn't fit all, that one message may not be appropriate for everybody, that what you really want to think of is who you're talking to and tailor the message to them. This is also showing you your absolute power in being able to see things from a higher perspective. Take time to get to the top of the mountain. The 10 of Wands typically shows that you've been there. We can see that. So take a moment when you finish something, to really just get your bearings and figure out, strategize. I mentioned, I want to go back to the channel message earlier, that you need to know where you're going. And I think it's important this month to get to the top of the mountain and get the bird's eye view. Also to take in a lot of different feedback and then just really decide at the end of the day which path suits you the best. So I do like that he's listening, but he also seems like he knows where he's going. So this month, if nothing else, spend some time getting to know your heart, yourself, and allow the path to reveal itself to you if you haven't already. This is a good time for public speaking ventures, for writing, for teaching, and for speaking your mind, because the King of Swords is all of that. But it's also just Libra personified, so it's a good card for you. Okay? That, my friends, brings us to the close of today's reading. Thank you so much for spending some time with me, whether it's your first time here or you've been a long-time supporter. I really couldn't have done it all without you, so I'm glad that you're here. Give me just a moment here, and I'm going to say thank you to our newest members and anybody that gave back. But in the meantime, again, thanks to the longtime members. I see a bunch of folks that have been with me for a while, and some familiar faces and names, so I do appreciate it. All right, to the newest members today, welcome to Lillian. It looks like you are brand new to the membership, and you haven't joined before, so good to have you. And I think Alicia is the other one that I noticed. And that's it for today. Let's look at the super stickers and super chats. Super stickers, we have, we'll start at the beginning here. We have B, thank you so much. Glad you like the deck that I chose. Just Me, yes. Apollo's doing well, so thank you so much. Aphrodite Goddess 369, good to see you. An old familiar face as well. Glad that you enjoyed this. And thank you to Kathy and Jessica. I remember all of you, so it's good to have you here. And quick reminder of my schedule, which, by the way, you can find on the main channel page of YouTube. Also, if you ever miss anything, usually within a day or two, I post it on my website. But here's my general schedule. I am live every Monday, Thursday, and Friday, unless otherwise noted. Sometimes I have to change it up. The Mondays sometimes shifts around, but usually those are the 3 days that I do the monthlies. Every Sunday for the weekly, every day for a daily, and there'll be special ones that are interspersed. I'm hinting at the milestone one, which is a few weeks away, and I may do something I usually do the moon phases, full and new moon when I have a chance. So keep an eye out for that. And that's why it's a great time to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, Ready Now, for that $20. I appreciate that as well. All right, everybody, that's it for today. Sending you lots of love and light from Apollo, from me, from all of you as well. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Have a great month ahead. Bye-bye.